We just received massive news surrounding a superstar potentially being part of the Los Angeles Lakers' future plans. Welcome into Lakers Digest. My name is Hunter Pitcoff, where we cover everything surrounding your Los Angeles Lakers. And just moments ago, we got some really big news, some huge insight about where the Lakers' heads are at regarding the future of the team, specifically post LeBron James. So, according to Kevin O'Connor, if you're not familiar with him, he is a very public media figure who covers basketball for The Ringer, and he was on a podcast earlier talking about how, quote, the Lakers have their sights set on none other than Luka Doncic in the future, but the Lakers might not trade their future picks. They're not going all in like you might expect many teams to do with LeBron James, and in fact, he also also talked about some of their future plans, went a little bit further into detail about Luka Doncic, saying how the Lakers have always wanted him. We know that the Dallas Mavericks, they just made a run at the NBA Finals. They have looked as good as they ever had with Luka Doncic. It really seemed like the general manager there, Nico Harrison, has done a really good job surrounding Luka Doncic with not only great players, but also great fits. And how long-term and short-term, the Lakers might not be all in like the way that us fans and anyone, even in the Lakers organization, might want to be or really might want to admit. So today, we're going to talk about all that. We're going to break it all down and how the Lakers are planning to swing very big to get one of the best players in the NBA in Luka Doncic. So strap in your seatbelts. It's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride. We're going to talk about a lot of hypotheticals here, but let's get into it, right? So, why does this move make sense? Well, if you think about the Lakers' history, right, they always swing for the stars. There's a reason why Los Angeles is the city of stars, the city of angels. It kind of makes sense. It's a little fitting that that's how the Lakers have operated their franchise, especially under the Buss family here, right? They swung for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They swung for Wilt Chamberlain. They swung for Magic Johnson. They swung for Shaq. They swung for Kobe. And most recently, they swung for LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And Luka Doncic might be the next big swing that the Lakers are going to try to make. And so from a basketball perspective, this move honestly really does make a lot of sense. If we look at Luka Doncic's stats over this past season alone, we'll get rid of some of these graphics for you right here. I mean, the dude was a monster, right? Nearly 34 points per game, 9 rebounds, nearly 10 assists. I mean, the guy damn near averaged a triple-double. He's only 25 years old, going to be 26 entering next season. And a big criticism of Luka's has been the fact that he's really never been a very efficient player. But if you look at these numbers right here, he shot nearly 50% from the field, 38% from three, and has been a guy who's really been a lot better off the ball than he ever has in his career. Part of that might be due to Kyrie Irving coming along, and he's been a perfect fit next to Luka Doncic, but Luka really elevated his game this year. I think he really proved that he is a winner, and I know he fell short against the Boston Celtics, and that sucks for Laker fans. I selfishly wanted the Mavericks to win just so the Celtics didn't, but the Lakers might have to bring Luka Doncic along to try to even out the score, as the Celtics have 18 championships compared to the Lakers' 17 championships. So that alone, I'm all for it. But in all honesty, Luka Doncic is a player who is right in the prime of his career, a top 3 player in the NBA right now. I think after Jokic and Giannis, I think Luka is probably the next guy up. And compared to Jokic and Giannis, who are in their late 20s, entering 30, Luka is still, again, only 25, going to be 26 in February. So he's still, as arguably, not really hit his pure peak just yet. And yet he's averaging damn near a 34 10-10 season last year while shooting close to 50% from the field and close to 40% from three at 38%. So Luka Doncic alone, as a basketball player, every single team in the league would want Luka Doncic on their roster. He has done so much. It's almost we're almost exhausted about how good Luka Doncic is. But I think from a basketball perspective, right, because this is a move that's going to happen in the future. This move's not going to happen with LeBron James on the roster. It's going to happen when LeBron retires, and we don't really know when that's going to happen either, because LeBron James is still defying Father Time, and he's still amazing. He's still one of the best players in the league. In fact, he just led Team USA, like Captain America, to a gold medal. But what really intrigues me about this fit with Luka Doncic is the fit alongside Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis last year, not only did he put up great numbers, as you can see up here, but his durability, which has been really in question since he has been in the league, period, not even just with the Lakers. And he played the most amount of games that he has ever played in a single season in his entire career. And he's going to be 32 next season. So for Anthony Davis to prove that he's this durable, the Lakers obviously put their money where their mouth was, and they gave Anthony Davis the extension. So he's clearly going to be a part of the long-term plans for the Lakers. So it is pivotal that they find a great fit and a great talent to put alongside Anthony Davis, because then he's going to want to leave too. And Luka Doncic makes a lot of sense. What is Luka Doncic best at? He's great in the pick and roll. He's great at reading a defense. He's great at throwing lobs. And he gets downhill. There's really not a whole lot he can't do. But from a ball handling perspective, his ability to operate out of the pick and roll is second to none in the NBA. Well, he has made Daniel Gafford a lot of money. He's going to eventually make Derek Lively a lot of money. Anthony Davis, respectfully, is way better than those players. He's a future Hall of Famer. And imagine that pick and roll chemistry between Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis. I mean, us Laker fans love that. And we've seen it with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I mean, Luka's that same type of passer like a LeBron, where he's big, he's bulky, and he can see over the defense, unlike most smaller point guards can. So, and we've seen that, of course, work with Anthony Davis. And so I don't see a reason why it wouldn't work with Luka Doncic. And I think Luka, he would... I always say this about the Lakers. There are just some players who they can shoot the basketball great in all these, in Milwaukee, in Sacramento, in these small markets, but they don't shoot the basketball well in LA. I think Luka Doncic would be the type of competitor that would embrace being a Laker. He would understand that lineage, that winning history, and I think he would be all in on it, and I think he would be able to handle that pressure. That's important, because playing for the Lakers, rocking that purple and gold, is very, very different than, quite frankly, any other team in the NBA. The pressure, the media coverage, I mean, we're just talking about a hypothetical scenario right now. That doesn't happen with many other teams in the league. So you need to have a player who can compete at that high level, especially in Los Angeles. And Luka Doncic is someone, to me, that would embrace being that guy. So from that perspective alone, I think it'd be awesome. I look at the head coach now in JJ Redick. He's going to be somebody who not actually played with Luka Doncic, and I think could put him in a situation where I think JJ's line of thinking, I think, would fit really well with Luka Doncic. But of course, that would depend on if JJ Redick is still the head coach, because there's been a lot of turmoil and a lot of turnaround with the head coaches of the Los Angeles Lakers. So that brings us to our final point here. Will this actually happen? Well, this is kind of where we have to pump the brakes, right? Because it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen next year. And it might not even happen after that, right? This is something that's going to happen bare minimum when LeBron James retires. Nothing's going to happen beforehand. You also have to consider the fact that the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Lakers are kind of rivals, right? Like, they've always kind of been going at it since the 2000s, when Dirk was there, when Kobe was there. And now it's kind of the same thing with Luka and LeBron. So the Lakers are going to have to pay a Laker tax, which means that, my fun little term I made up, which pretty much means that the Lakers always have to give up way more in deals than any other team does, because they're the Lakers, because they're the brand that they are, and no one is ever going to give a discount to the LA Lakers. So you know for a fact that Mark Cuban and Nico Harrison, who is the president and GM of the Mavericks, they are not going to want to just give up Luka Doncic for nothing. And you look at the Mavericks entering next season, post-trade deadline, their defense was significantly better. They went to the NBA Finals. I know they lost, but they still beat some really good teams to get there, and the Timberwolves, and they also beat the Thunder to get there. I guess the Clippers, but, they were a little bit banged up at the end. And it fell short to Boston. But Dallas just added Klay Thompson. They added Najee Marshall, and they're running the whole gang back with Kyrie and Luka in them. So that would have to go really, really bad in order for Luka Doncic to be like, you know what? Screw this. I don't want to play here anymore. Get me the hell out of here. I mean, we even know that Mark Cuban, in an interview a few years ago, said himself that he'd rather divorce his wife than trade Luka Doncic. And I'm sure he loves his wife very much. So that just shows you how dedicated the Dallas Mavericks are to Luka Doncic, which they should be, and how serious they take him. So whether this actually happens or not, I don't know. We might have to make a video a few years from now, maybe, if this gets more realistic, but it is fun to talk about. I'm happy Kevin O'Connor brought it up because it's the offseason. We don't have a lot to talk about here. So any sort of grain of salt, any sort of inkling we have to figure out Rob Pelinka's mindset and the Lakers front office and their brass's mindset of how they want this post-LeBron James era or end of LeBron James era to look, I think it's very interesting for us, and it's going to be very telling for how the season's going to be this year, and if the Lakers are going to be aggressive or not moving their picks. But if they're really all in on Luka Doncic, like this report might suggest, perhaps we have to pump the brakes a little bit, and the Lakers maybe, and based on the lack of moves they made this offseason, perhaps maybe they aren't as all in as we might have liked to have been. But again, appreciate you guys listening. If there's any sort of updates regarding Luka Doncic and him potentially going to the LA Lakers, we will definitely cover it here on Lakers Digest. And also, too, drop a comment. Do you think Luka Doncic would be a great fit here? Do you not want to see it? Do you not want to see the Lakers wait ahead of time for the eye of the ball and Luka, or should they go in all in this season and try to get LeBron James as much help as possible before he ends up riding off into the sunset? But again, thank you all for listening here on Lakers Digest.